Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome. Welcome to the Restoration Lounge. After hours with Dr. K. It's 10 p.m. The house is quieter, and for many people, this is when emotional needs become more noticeable. Tonight, we're talking about something noticeable that quietly shapes relationships, right? The difference between being emotional and expectations. Because when these two things get confused, people feel disappointed, unseen, and disconnected. Tonight, we're talking about emotional needs of men. Whew, thank you for joining me tonight. I apologize. Let me get it together. So, we're talking about the emotional needs of men. I think that's something that we don't really talk about a lot, right? We always talk about women, we talk about women needs, but we don't really dive into what men need. So, welcome. I am so glad that you decided to join us tonight. And again, we are incorporating a phone number now, so you can and call in and remain anonymous if you like. So let's talk about emotional needs, right? So emotional needs are valid, but expectations, especially unspoken ones, can create pressure. A need says, I need support, I need connection, I need reassurance, right? And expectation said, you should know what I need. You should know what I want without saying it. And I say this oftentimes with couples is that a lot of times people don't verbalize their needs. They have expectations, but they don't talk about what's actually needed. So I would love for some men to join me on here and have a good conversation tonight about what they need versus what they expect. All right. So I think I got a couple of people here. Are, if you understand what I'm talking about, expectations versus need, and put a one in the chat. All right. Thank you so much for that. So it sounds like a lot of people do understand the difference, right? And so when we talk about emotional, I know a lot of times men are not supposed to be emotional, correct? They are expected to be strong and they're always expected to be brave. But nobody talks about when a man is emotional. And so this is something that we need to discuss more. All right. So when I say I need support, connection, and reassurance, that usually comes from a lady, right? That's usually what a lady says. I need connection. I need reassurance. I need to know that my partner has me. My partner supports me, right? Usually you don't hear men verbalize those things, right? And like I said, most of the times we expect men to we expect men to uh, just show up. We don't expect them to really have needs, right? Other than sexual needs. Let's just be honest. And so it's very hard for um, Sometimes, not always. There's no always. It's very hard for men to sometimes verbalize what they need because women don't often give them the space to be free and to express themselves without um, maybe making them feel insecure or making them feel um, less than or, maybe even soft. So those are things that we have to discuss. And how do we get past that, right? How do we give them a space to have a safe space? And if they're in a relationship, they should have a safe space with you where they're able to verbalize their needs. And just so you know, guys, you can watch this on YouTube live right now. I think it's on my page, Professor K Green, Professor Kiva Richmond Green, or you can go to LinkedIn and watch it live as well. Um, Professor Kiva Richmond Green. And I apologize. I'm answering someone there asking me how can they watch it live. So again, um, unspoken expectations don't disappear, right? They usually turn into resentment. And so what happens is because I'm not getting my needs met, which have not been verbalized or spoken. So you expect somebody to um, read your mind. Uh, it usually turns into anger or resentment or bitterness because you never gave me what I needed, but you never verbalized to me what you needed. Right? You just assumed that I knew what you needed because we've been together so long, or we've been doing this way. Why would you know? Well, your interpretation is not my interpretation, right? And so things like that make a huge difference. So why this happens? Many people assume that love means being understood automatically. Oh, that's so good. Because the bottom line is, what is love? That's a whole nother topic of the show, right? Just had that conversation with some clients today. Like, what is love? Love shows up different ways for different people. And depending on your definition of love, that's going to determine your expectations and your needs. So that's that's the truth, right? And so many people assume that love means being understood automatically. But the relationships do not work on assumptions, they work on communication. And again, I see this all the time. I do. I used to always wonder how people can stay together for 10, 12, 15 years dating, but as soon as they get married, they can't live together anymore. Make it make sense. Expectations are never verbalized, they're never communicated to each other. People just assume when we get married, this is supposed to happen. Not if we've been doing it this way 10 years, why would it change now? Because that's how people think. So, um, so when we talk about emotional needs, right? We usually assume that men say emotional needs, they thinking sexual. But I believe that they also need and have other desires besides sexual needs, right? And I am going to find a man to come on with me and have this conversation. Oh, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We are talking about emotional needs of men tonight. And I was just saying that a lot of times when we think emotional needs for men, we usually think sexual, right? And so it's important to understand thank you for joining. Did you want to talk or did you want to just listen? Sounds good. All right. So we're talking about tonight, we're talking about emotional needs versus expectations. Like I said, tonight we're talking about something that quietly shapes relationships, right? The difference between emotional needs and expectations. Because when these two get confused, right, people feel disappointed, they feel unseen, they feel disconnected. And so emotional needs are valid. They're valid, right? But expectations, especially unspoken ones, usually create pressure, especially in relationships. Expectations expectations don't disappear, they turn into communication. Let me say that. So people aren't telling you, they may not know what you haven't expressed. And so what I was saying was that a lot of times I have seen many couples date for years. I'm talking 5, 7, 10 years and do fine. But the moment they get married, they can't stay together anymore. And I'm saying, what? And I realized that it's because of unexpected expectations that nobody verbalized. I expect my wife to do ABC, but we haven't done that in 7 years. We've been dating and living together. But now you're my wife, and I expect you to do this. Huh? Well, why would I just do this if we ain't been doing this? And vice versa. I expect my husband to now handle all the bills. Well, that's not the way we've been doing it. But that's what I saw my dad do. But that's not the way we run our house. But nobody says that. And then people are angry and upset and ready to divorce and break up because nobody's communicating. Have you ever felt like your partner should just know what you need? Caller? Okay. But not anymore. Very well said. But how long did it take you to get to that place where you understood that? That's true. That's so true. Very good. awesome. That was great. You are so right. It does not have to be a uh, physical relationship by any means. It's any type of communication at all, right? Any type of situationship. I'm sorry. Yes. That's very. Hmm. I love it. I love it. That is factual. Very factual. And I see a lot of parents do that as well. But like you said, any relation, any type of anything involving two people or more, how about that, should have communication where you are making it clear what you need and what you expect from someone. If you have to do business with them or if you have to live with them, should be communicated. Obviously, um, it's something if you're saying 2021 and you're still single, right? And so that's huge. That means it really impacted you, right? Do you agree with that? Mhm. Oh, my apologies. I'm sorry. Hmm. Uh, mm, awesome. Hmm. Hmm. Right. 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 That's good. That's real good. Meet or exceed those. That's good. And I don't know about, I'm not single, so I don't know, but I hear that it's pool in the water out here with the dating pool. So I hear that's hard to do, right? Uh, but I do believe that there's some good mates out here. I do. I believe there's some good partners out here. I can't tell you where to find them now, but I do hear that there's some good people out here. Hmm.
That's what your relationship is built on.
Most
Most
times.
people don't realize it's not built on what you. It's built on what you saw. Because if you think about it, if your husband or spouse do something to you that you don't like, in most cases you're gonna say something to the effect of, "My mom used to say that," or "My
Mm-hmm.
dad used to do that," or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
That stems from what you saw, what you were around, what was put in front of you, right? So it's one thing that I learned. People don't remember what you say to them,
Mm-hmm.
but they remember how you make them feel.
Absolutely.
Now, your parents may not have said anything to you or as to why they did what they did, but it's how they made you feel.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true. Very true. I agree. I do agree that majority of what we do and how we respond is based off of uh, you know how our parents or whoever raised us. Uh, yeah, how we perceive that, right? Our perception of that, and so because two things can be true at once, right? Like you can believe that's what you saw, and it can very well be that's not what you saw, if that makes sense. And so, but based off of your perception and how you view things, that's the outtake that you got from it. And so, I totally agree with that. I agree with that. So, um, kudos. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on. This has been great because, like I said, I wanted to hear a male's perspective on this as well. Because why would I talk about the men without the men present?
This between men and women, my is men are logical,
Mm-hmm. You.
men are very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
90% of a woman's actions is based on her emotions. It's not logic, it's emotions. That's the disconnect in most relationships.
Well, we were created that way. We were created
Yeah,
to
but
be.
the problem
Mm-hmm.
is when you become emotional, not you personal, of course,
Of
but
course, yeah.
when that woman becomes emotional,
Mm-hmm.
a mishap in the communication.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, by her being emotional, emotionally reacting to whatever situation was not say to her son, oh, why she's upset.
Right. And that's.
Now
Mm-hmm.
she's mad, whatever the case may be, and he's trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Mm-hmm.
She expects that he should know why she's mad. Instead of saying, hey, X, Y, and Z took place. We as men are going to tell you that I don't like that. Don't do that.
Some
We're
men.
very direct. We're very direct.
Some men.
Most men are very direct.
I
We're
think
very simple.
I
We're
now
very simple.
I do agree with the simple. Now I totally
We're
agree
very
with the simple.
simple. We're very simple and we're very direct. Are you hungry? Yes. Would you like to eat?
I don't know.
Me personally, no. I'm saying,
No, 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 no. I know. I'm messing with you because that's like a number one thing with men and women, right? Like, what you want to eat? I don't know. I'm hungry though.
right. But then you say, well, I don't care. And then he pulls up to, wherever. I don't want that. Exactly. You want shit you care.
Right.
Right now you're mad because you don't want what I chose. The logic behind that doesn't make sense. If I just gave you the opportunity to pick something that you wanted and you chose not to,
Well, the
that
logic
the
for
logic.
the logic for
Yeah.
women is
Are you supposed to know?
no,
No.
no, no, no. It's I don't know what I want. However, I know I don't want that.
So how do you know that? You don't know.
Listen, what they tell you all the time. If you try to figure out a woman, you'll be forever trying to figure out a woman, right? So just know we don't want that.
Even for myself, I'm still learning how to communicate.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. This is a journey, right? This is not this is not a marathon. This is a journey. Like this is something that takes a lifetime. You're forever learning your partner or excuse me, your partner or whatever, your business partner, your children, your because we're ever changing. And so or we should be. And so if you ever think you got it all figured out, you probably don't. So I agree with you completely on that. Now, as far as women being emotional, again, I think we were created that way, but I also think that times are changing. I think we have a lot of rational, logical women now and emotional men now. That's that's what I see. I see a lot of emotional men. So clarity reduces resentment. And when needs are expressed clearly, people have a chance to respond, right? And so that's basically what we're saying here. Learning how to communicate so that you can respond effectively and hopefully get your needs met. Instead of saying you don't support me, try saying I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need more help with this specific thing, right? So clarity invites connection. Assumption creates distance. And people usually struggle when it comes to asking for what they need. That's the same conversation we just had about that food thing, right? So people usually struggle when it comes to what they need. And again, most people can tell you what they don't want. Many people cannot tell you what they do want.
That's very true. My I know she said my current girlfriend. Back to that same question. What do you want?
Hmm.
And her response was, no one has ever asked.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Most
knew when
people
that
don't.
question was presented to me.
Mm.
That question was presented to me, but
Oh, okay.
I had an answer. She wasn't expecting to have an answer, but I had an answer. And so I asked my current girlfriend the same question. She didn't have an answer. And her response was, no one has ever asked me that. I don't know.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So I asked her, what do you like? She says, no one has ever asked me, what do I like? She says, I don't know what I like.
Wow. That's real.
She said, I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know.
So
And
what
this
that
is a woman
mm-hmm. Go ahead, I'm
this
sorry.
is a woman that has children,
Mm-hmm.
but no one's ever asked me what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about that,
That's huge.
most people don't care.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Most people like one time.
Yes. Very much so. In every area. It's just like you said, not just in a physical, or sexual relationship, but in most areas, in business, in whatever, work, whatever, social environments, people generally are one-sided, very selfish. People say, "How are you?" but they don't even wait for the answer.
So you know what my response is when people ask me how am I doing?
Hmm.
I ask, do you really care?
Mm.
And that stops them from
I was just
asking.
about to say they usually stop right and look at you like, "Yeah, I care."
That's correct because they don't care.
Hmm. I don't know if they don't care. I just think that
They don't care. Why would they care? They don't know.
that doesn't mean they don't care. Well, I'll say it this way. Let me say it this way. What I was thinking was, I don't know if they don't care. I think that we just don't. take the time to listen and hear the answer, if that makes sense. Somebody asks, what language do men speak? Plain English. Oh, I know they believe that. I know they believe they speak plain English. I don't know if they speak plain English though. I mean, because if you ask women, of course we're gonna say plain English, right? Um, but let me go back a minute.
Depends on that man, depends on their upbringing, depends on if they were raised in a single parent household or a two parent household. That all makes a difference in your relationships.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
People don't realize that. England,
So let's go back a minute because you really brought up something when you said you asked two different women, what do they want? And both of them said, no one ever asked me that. What do you like? And they said, no one ever asked me that. That's huge because I know it's the truth because I get it all the time with my clients when I'm going through trying to figure out who are you, right? Most people don't even know who they are because the world has told them there's something, or their parents or their family has told them there's something, or what they do has defined them. And so they don't know who they are. They don't know what they like. They don't know what they want. And usually it's around, 40, 50-ish age, they start saying, you know, uh, I don't like this anymore. Like, this is not working for me anymore. And um, then they start the self exploring and, you know, going, looking deeper and trying to find out what's going on with this identity crisis thing. And that's not just women, that's women and men. And so that's huge, though. I thought that was very interesting that you said that because that is so true. Most people don't know what they want or who they are or what they like. I'm like, what is your favorite color? What is your favorite food? Can you even, we just start with the simplest things. And it's like pulling teeth sometimes with adults to because nobody has ever, other than maybe when they were fourth or fifth grade, when you looking at career day, has stopped and asked them, what do you want? That's huge.
like you said,
Oh, I can tell you all day what I don't want. That's a good question. That's a good question. Because I know what I don't want. I do know that.
I know you don't know. You don't know. You have to know what you want first before you know what you don't want.
You would think. You would think.
But again, we're talking about people who use common sense, not acquired sense.
Well, no, I don't even know if it's about common sense. Like you said, I just think it's about I just think it's simply about, again, choice. And a lot of people are not given choices. People are
They
told
know they are.
what to do.
We're all for choice.
You think so?
Yes. You
Uh,
choose every day. Every day, no matter what you
hey,
do.
that's the truth.
And you,
You're
and
right
you
about
walk,
that.
and you wake up,
Yeah.
you get dressed,
Hmm.
you leave your house. That's a choice that you make.
That's true. That's true. You're right. You're right about that. They make a choice every day to whether it's to do the same thing or not. Right?
That's correct. So you have to choose.
You have options. And even when you don't choose an option, an option. That's what I tell people. Like, I don't think people realize. Just because you didn't make a choice doesn't mean you didn't make a choice.
You didn't make a choice.
All right. So how do we fix that? Or do we fix that? I believe that will have to change until they're at a crossroads where they don't have a choice but to make a decision and change.
But you have a choice.
I always have a choice,
That's correct.
but they don't feel like they have a choice.
No, they still have to have a choice. They know that. Now, having a choice is one thing, but having different options is something different.
Oh, okay.
I can go to a restaurant and I can look at this restaurant.
Uh-huh.
Those are choices. Do I want
Those are options. Mm-hmm.
do I want those options?
Right.
I can choose to take that option or I could choose the option and I try something on that. But
True.
I still have choices. I still have options. Some people don't have those options. They just have choice and no options. That makes sense.
And most people still choose the one option that they always choose. Most people
No
still don't
option.
go outside of that option.
No option.
Why?
Because it's comfortable to do.
I agree. I totally agree. I know this. I know what I'm getting. I know what it tastes like. I know I don't have to guess. I don't have to worry about it's not going to work. Right? Uh, I don't have to think about it.
It's the fear of the unknown.
It's so funny. I was just about to say people struggle because fear of rejection, fear of unknown, patterns, behaviors, fear of being too much. Oh my goodness, right? All of those things contribute to why people struggle to ask for what they need. What if I get? What if I get it? Then what? Right? What if I actually get what I need? Because people are so used to being disappointed. What if I really, what if somebody really gives it to me? Then what I'm gonna do with it? Can I keep it? Can I really handle it? Is this really what I wanted? That's good. That's a good. But like you said, comfortability, complacency is huge.
This is why so many people are miserable in their relationships. Miserable as in relationships. Because
Because
stay because they were scared unknown to say, you know what? This isn't working for me.
now do
However,
now do you think that's
it's
men
not
and women, or you think that's
that's
women?
women.
Okay.
No, that's me anyway.
Mhm. Okay.
That's not even necessarily anyway. That's a part of us. You know, your job. You know, your job 20 years, 10 years,
That's
you
true.
hate that damn place.
Right.
But you stay.
Right.
You miserable and all get out. You don't like being working,
Mhm.
but you stay.
Mhm.
You can clean up every
Every day,
single day.
all day. That's all
But
you talk
you
about.
stay.
I
You
agree.
stay.
I agree with that.
You got options. You got options and choices. Option A, you got option
Right.
Option B, do something about it.
Do something
got
different.
two choices,
Mm-hmm.
right? So even on the job, okay, go back to what you said earlier. Because I've been here for 30 years, I'm looking to retire. This company can give me a pension or retire,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But they don't.
Right.
But
Exactly. Because guess what? They don't owe you anything but that paycheck they gave you for 30 years. Well, I don't know.
presume,
Yeah. I, yeah.
so we went.
No, I agree. I listen. I am a firm believer in if you're not happy, do something about
That's correct.
it. Right? Um, you you determine your fate,
Nobody else knows.
and I don't want to hear it. I'm gonna tell you, I'm the type of person like, all right, we talked about this about 2 weeks now. I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't gonna listen to it much longer. You gonna make a choice, or you gonna shut up. You gonna because you like it. You evidently are okay with it because you keep going back. Now we've talked about options. We've given some different scenarios on things you can try and do differently. But what we're not gonna do is sing that song over and over again. We're not gonna do that. Not with me anyway. Maybe go find somebody else. But that's one thing I do not do is go round and around in a circle with myself or anybody else. I don't. So I'm totally in agreement with that. People, I, somebody has to do it. I guess I try to look at it that way, right? Somebody got to work the job. Somebody's going to work the job. Somebody's going to do it for 30 years. So why not be you? But I agree. People stay in relationships for comfortability because I know this person. I know what they're going to do. I know what to expect. Um, why change? Why start over? I got to get to know a person all over again. I got to do all this, all these excuses, right? And yet and still you're miserable, or you, or at the least, unhappy, right? Not satisfied in some area, and you still make a choice. Now, don't be wrong. Nothing is roses and perfect, and I don't even know why I said the word perfect. Nothing's perfect, but nothing is good all the time. You're gonna have some struggles and some rocky times, but if it's a consistent, you, you don't think so? Okay,
Here's why.
okay.
Here's why. People say that all the time. Relationships
No, I don't think they're hard. You didn't hear me say that. Okay.
they can't be very relationships can be very. They don't have to rock. They don't. We as men and women choose to make our relationships right because we choose how to communicate with our spouses.
Mm-hmm. I will say this. There are hard times in relationships, right? People have hard times. Things come up that test relationships, that uh, challenge you in ways that you may not have expected or been ready for. But I don't believe that relationships have to be hard. I don't believe they're hard at all. I believe, again, like you said, if you're communicating, effectively or as much as possible, and your person knows you, then what's hard about it? And so when people say relationships are hard, I just like, I don't agree with that. Like, I don't agree relationships are hard. I think they're actually one of the easiest things to do because y'all know each other. Y'all get each other, or you should. And like I said, are there some things I the reason I say that there's some hard times is because anytime you're with a person consistently, there are gonna be things that come up and there are gonna be things that may bother you or rub you. You just could be in a mood or you just could not feel like being bothered, right? And that
So,
doesn't
so,
go ahead.
so let's stop right there. So, so if it's a point in time that you're not in the mood or you're mad or wake up on the wrong side of the bed or whatever,
Mhm.
that's your duty at that point to communicate that with your spouse.
I agree.
Hey, I woke up today, I'm feeling in a good mood. So my conversation may be better or
Right. Whatever way you put it. Exactly. Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm not in a good mood right now. I'll let you come around. Oh, first or whatever. Right?
Yeah. I probably ain't talking a lot. Give me a minute. Give me some space. I'm good. Just give me.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So we don't do that, but I've learned to do that. And it works. It really
It
works.
does work.
Sometimes I think because I guess depending on who you are, your body language, your energy is going to display all of that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right. So a lot of miscommunication can be avoided if we just communicate. But also, people say relationships are tough or challenging is because, my opinion, people don't go in being totally honest.
Mm.
They go
Okay.
in with one foot in and one foot out. And what I mean by that is, well, I'm gonna do you before you do me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's because most people don't trust, right?
That's correct. That tells me that you wasn't in this from the get go. That means you came into this relationship with a motive.
Well,
Came and you're waiting and expecting something to, or expecting me to do something to give you a reason to say, I need you just like everybody else, blah, 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 blah. It
what
ain't like that.
I say this. Two things. I like what you said. I say this. One, I believe men tell you the truth in the beginning. I do.
We do.
I think
Absolutely right.
I say that all the time. I say men tell you the truth in the beginning. How you respond to them determines if they're going to tell you the truth after that, and continue so, right?
No, no, no. Most of us from the jump.
No, from the
Most
jump.
of us.
Okay, yeah.
I said most.
Mhm.
I said most.
Okay.
I can't speak for all men because I'm not all men.
Right.
But most men will be honest with you from the jump,
Mhm.
right? They
Yeah.
go, the woman asks, you got a girlfriend? Yeah. Or whatever case, whatever your response is.
Right.
Or if you have a girlfriend and you find out you got to pick up a sign, or vice versa, whatever the case may be, and she asks you, you like her? No, it's just sex. We telling you what it is. We
I
not arguing
agree.
with her.
I agree.
It's just sex.
Yeah.
It's not anything to do with anything else other
Mm-mm.
than
Right.
maybe she listens to me, maybe
Mm-mm.
she's willing to do something different and you're not, or whatever the case may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're telling you.
Yeah.
We're being honest with you.
I agree.
But you're so emotional because you found out this, that, and the other. Women don't get mad because men cheat. Women get mad because men lie about it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stop nobody from cheating. You just can't.
Well,
It's not about you cheating. It's about you lying. That's why women get upset and become emotional because men lie about it or women lie about it. Don't lie. Just be honest. Don't take that option or choice away from me.
mm-hmm.
And so I'm not going to deal with you. Your job is to be honest with me. My job is to deal with the way that I understand where you're
Right.
at right now.
Right. Right. How what I'm gonna do with that information, right?
Exactly. Because your job is not to lie to me. When you lie to me, that just compounds the situation. Because that means that was a lie on top of a lie. And now I'm questioning the whole entire relationship.
Everything, right. Now I'm questioning everything. Well,
Exactly.
if you lied about that, what else did you lie in it?
What else did you lie
Yeah.
about? Right.
And so
Now everything is in question.
right.
Right now the trust is broken. Now becomes the running water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because now you're crossing the line. So now the trust is gone. So now I'm questioning everything. So now I'm just beating yourself.
Right.
Now I'm just looking. I'm just messed up now because you lied.
Right. Absolutely. And especially well, I can't say that. The second thing I was gonna say is I believe everybody gets used, don't get misused, right? So we all have motives.
You use me, let me know that you
We,
I want to use or not.
we all get used. Everybody has a motive for why they do what they do. I like you. You fine. You funny. You loving. You financially secure. Whatever the reason is.
We're telling you up front.
No, not no, no. Okay, okay. But my thing is, we have a motive, don't we? Everybody got a motive. Everybody got a motive. It doesn't mean it's it doesn't mean it's ill intent. It doesn't mean it's malicious. But we have a motive. Yeah. Now, everybody gets used, just don't get misused, right? That's the bottom line. Don't get misused. And so when it turns into misuse, which is abuse, then you gotta make some different choices, right? So that's when you know, okay, you weren't really for me. You came in here with ulterior motive. You for the streets, for that moment or whatever that I needed from you or that you provided for me. Hmm. Yeah. So that's how I feel, and that's what I tell people. So if we go into it with our eyes wide open, right, and stop expecting the shoe to drop, like you said, most people go in it already waiting on something to happen so they can say, right, I knew it.
So, so,
Okay.
so, I don't know if you know this, but when they do or have people are listening, but so for me,
Okay.
so why women become emotional in relationships. So when a woman is innocent with a man,
Hmm.
that man eventually becomes a part of her.
Hmm.
She becomes part of him. So in other words,
Right. Right.
so when one it takes 8 weeks for one to completely dissolve out of a woman's body.
Hmm.
Just think about that.
Mm. That's 2 months.
Right? That's 8 weeks.
Hmm.
Right? two
Hmm.
months.
Right.
Right? So let's just think about that. So let's just say that you in this relationship, you wouldn't have a relationship, you in this relationship. Let's say you're intimate in these relationships. Your relationship is only lasting 30 days, 45 days, whatever it is.
Okay.
Right?
Hmm.
Now you wonder why these women are emotional behind this man. This man
Right.
that I don't want you now
Right.
to her mind because they moved on. That's
Correct.
because he's still his DNA is still inside of you. You have not let his DNA dissolve out of your body. See, we as men can go and wash a woman off, but a woman cannot wash a man out.
But it's also the chemical oxytocin, right? So if you hug somebody longer than 45 seconds, you now have a connection with them, right? And then you wonder why I can't get this person off my mind. Like why I feel a connection to them because your brain and the chemicals in your body have connected with this person.
So my question would be, why
Along
hug
with,
someone for 45 seconds?
I'm sorry, hold on. Along with DNA, right? So you put them two things together. And now you have a connection that is hard to break, what we call a soul tie. And so then you want to know why they're emotional and why they're angry and whatever's happening, right? Because again, we were created differently. And like you say, we are the carriers. You are the output. We're the input. Right. So So, absolutely. And listen, we're going to continue this conversation next week because this is good. I appreciate you. Thank you for calling. You gave me a lot to think about. So, the whole month of April, I want to dedicate to men, right? Like, I don't think we give them enough credit. So, I want to really talk about some men stuff in the month of April. So, join me again next week. I appreciate you. Thank you for calling. All right. Have a great night. You too. All right. So, if you're feeling disappointed in your relationships, ask yourself, have I clearly expressed what I need? Or have I been hoping it would be understood? Awareness creates the opportunity for change. I will see you all next week in the lounge. Thank you so much. I hope you could hear him. That was an awesome conversation. And we will continue next week. We may continue the next, same topic since it was so good. But thank you for joining me. Good night.